Admiral Jinha stood very still on the bridge of his ship. The ship was called Vengeance of Terra. It was not like other ships in the galaxy. This ship could do things that other ships could not do, things that other people could not even see. In front of him, a blue light showed moving pictures. The pictures were old, very old, 300 years old. They showed tall, strange creatures with long arms and big eyes. These creatures were not human. They were aliens from faraway planets. The aliens in the pictures were talking about Earth, about humans. But they were not saying nice things. "The humans are dying," said one alien in the old recording. Its voice was cold and did not care. "Their planet is sick. Their air is dirty. They fight each other with terrible weapons. They will all be dead soon." Another alien nodded. This one had 4 eyes and skin like a snake. "We checked their planet 50 years ago. The humans are too stupid to live. They are too angry. They cannot learn to work together. They will kill themselves." "How long?" asked a third alien. This one was very tall and thin. 50 years, maybe less. The humans are a dead species. They just do not know it yet. Jinha watched the old recording end. The blue light went away. Now he could see out the big window of his ship. He could see space. He could see stars. And he could see something else. Something that no other species in the galaxy could see. He could see the dark matter. Dark matter was everywhere in space. It was like a big web that held all the stars and planets together. But it was invisible. Most people could not see it. Most people did not even know it was there. They thought space was mostly empty. They were wrong. Space was full of dark matter, and humans had learned how to use it. "Admiral," said a voice behind him. Jinha turned around. It was Dr. Harin. She was the smartest human alive when it came to dark matter. She had helped build this ship. She had helped build all the human ships that could use dark matter. Harin was young, but her eyes looked old. That happened to people who could see dark matter. When you could see the invisible web that held the universe together, you saw things differently. You understood how big and strange the universe really was. "The aliens are having a big meeting today," Harin said. She held a small device in her hand. The device showed information from far away. All 12 species. They call themselves the hegemony. They think they rule the galaxy. Jinha nodded. He knew about the hegemony. 12 different alien species that had joined together. They had big fleets of ships. They had powerful weapons. They controlled thousands of planets. They thought they were the strongest things in the galaxy. They had no idea that humans still existed. "What are they meeting about?" Jinha asked. "They want to decide who gets to control more star systems," Harin said. "They are fighting about it. Each species wants more planets, more resources, more power." Jinha looked back out the window. He could see the dark matter flowing between the stars like rivers, like roads. His ship could travel on those roads. His ship could hide in those rivers. The aliens could not see the roads or the rivers. To them, his ship did not exist. "They still think we are dead," he said. "Yes," Harin said. "Their last report about humans was 300 years ago. They said we were primitive. They said we would destroy ourselves. They said we were not worth watching anymore." Jinha smiled. It was not a nice smile. It was the kind of smile that meant trouble was coming. 300 years ago, the aliens had been right about some things. Earth was dying. The air was full of poison. The oceans were rising. Humans were fighting wars with nuclear weapons. It looked like humans would destroy themselves. But humans did not destroy themselves. Humans did what they always did when things got bad. They adapted. They survived. They found a way. The climate got worse, so humans learned to live in bad climates. The wars used up resources, so humans learned to make new resources. The planet got crowded, so humans learned to live in space. And while they were learning all these things, they discovered something amazing. They discovered that they were the only species in the galaxy that could see patterns in chaos. Other species were very smart. They could build big ships and powerful weapons. But when things got messy and complicated and random, they got confused. Humans did not get confused. Humans looked at messy, complicated, random things and saw patterns. They saw order hidden in disorder. They saw sense in things that made no sense, and the biggest, most complicated, most random thing in the universe was dark matter. "Doctor," Jinha said, "tell me again how we figured it out." Haran smiled. She liked talking about this. "We were trying to solve the climate problem. We needed new energy, clean energy. We looked at fusion power, solar power, wind power. Nothing was enough." She walked to the window and pointed at the stars. Then some scientists started asking strange questions. They said the universe was mostly made of stuff we could not see. Dark matter and dark energy. They said it was 96% of everything. Jinha nodded. "And other species?" "Other species knew about dark matter too, but they thought it was just invisible mass, just stuff that was there but did not do anything. They ignored it. They focused on the 4% of the universe they could see and touch." Haran's eyes got bright with excitement. "But humans are different. We do not ignore things just because we cannot see them. We had been dealing with invisible things our whole history. Germs we could not see that made us sick. Radiation we could not see that could kill us. Radio waves we could not see that carried our voices. So we looked for patterns," Jinha said. "Yes, we looked for patterns in the dark matter. And we found them. We found that dark matter was not just sitting there doing nothing. It was flowing, moving, creating currents and rivers and roads through space." Haran touched the wall of the ship. "Once we understood the patterns, we could use them. We could build ships that rode the dark matter currents. We could make weapons that used dark energy. We could hide in dimensions that other species could not even see." Jinha looked at his ship's controls. Every button and screen was connected to dark matter systems. His ship could become invisible by stepping into dark matter space. His ship could travel faster than light by riding dark matter currents. His ship could fire weapons that passed through normal shields because they attacked through dark matter. The aliens in the hegemony still used ships that pushed against space. Human ships flowed with space. The aliens used weapons made of normal matter and energy. Human weapons used the invisible forces that held the universe together. "How many ships do we have now?" Jinha asked. 1,000 combat ships, 10,000 support ships, and they are all invisible to alien sensors. Jinha nodded. 1,000 ships did not sound like many. The hegemony had millions of ships, but the hegemony's ships were like boats on the surface of an ocean. They could not see the deep currents below. They could not dive into the depths where the real power flowed. Human ships lived in those depths. "Admiral," said another voice. Jinha turned. It was Captain Quan. He had just returned from a scouting mission in alien space. "Report," Jinha said. "I got close to their big meeting," Quan said. "Very close. I was invisible to all their sensors. I heard what they were saying." "And?" Quan smiled. "They are scared. Not of us. They still do not know we exist. They are scared of each other. Each species thinks the others are getting too powerful. They do not trust each other anymore." Jinha thought about this. The hegemony was strong because 12 species worked together. But if they did not trust each other anymore, they were weak. Very weak. "Perfect timing then," Jinha said. "For what?" Haran asked. Jinha looked out at the stars again, at the invisible dark matter flowing between them, at the roads and rivers that only humans could see. "To introduce ourselves," he said. "It is time the galaxy remembered that humans exist." He walked to his command chair and sat down. Around him, the bridge crew got ready. They had been preparing for this day for 300 years. The day when humans would step out of the shadows and show the galaxy what they had become. The aliens thought humans were extinct. They thought humans had been too primitive to survive. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Captain Quan sat in his small ship called Shadow Walker. He was deep inside enemy space, but the aliens could not see him. Their best sensors showed nothing. Their most powerful computers detected nothing. To them, Captain Quan did not exist. But Quan could see everything. His ship was moving through the hegemony's most secret base. This was where they kept their best weapons. This was where their smartest scientists worked. This was where they planned their wars. No enemy had ever gotten inside this base. No enemy had ever even found this base, until now. Quan's ship was not hiding behind shields or special armor. Those things could be detected. Instead, his ship was traveling through dark matter space. It was like swimming underwater while the enemy stood on the surface. They lived in a world of normal matter and energy. Quan lived in the hidden world that held their world together. Shadowwalker to Admiral Jinha. Quan spoke quietly into his radio. I am inside their main base. They have no idea I am here. What do you see? Came Jinha's voice from far away. Quan looked at his screens. They showed him things that no alien ship could see. I see their newest warship. They call it Galaxy Destroyer. It is very big. It has weapons that can crack planets. Can it see you? No, I am sitting right next to it, but its sensors show empty space. To them, I am not here. Quan smiled. The Galaxy Destroyer was the most advanced warship the aliens had ever built. It had taken them 50 years to make it. They were very proud of it. They thought it was the strongest ship in the galaxy. They were wrong. Quan's little scout ship could destroy the Galaxy Destroyer in seconds. Not with bigger weapons, not with thicker armor, but by doing things the Galaxy Destroyer could not understand or defend against. I am going to their meeting room now, Quan said. The big bosses are all there. Quan's ship moved deeper into the base. It passed through walls like a ghost. The walls were made of normal matter. Quan's ship was traveling through dark matter space. Normal matter could not stop it. In the meeting room, 12 different aliens sat around a big table. Each alien looked very different from the others. Some were tall and thin. Some were short and fat. Some had fur. Some had scales. Some had tentacles instead of arms. But they all had one thing in common. They all thought they were the smartest things in the galaxy. Quan listened to them talk. Our new weapon can destroy any ship, said one alien. It had 6 legs and looked like a giant spider. Our shields can stop any attack, said another. This one looked like a walking tree with eyes. Our sensors can detect any enemy, said a third. This alien was made of some kind of blue crystal. Quan almost laughed. Their new weapon could not hurt his ship. Their shields could not protect them from his weapons. Their sensors could not even tell that he was there. Shadowwalker to base, Quan whispered. I am recording everything. They are talking about their plans to attack the Zephyr system. Copy that, said Harin's voice. Are you ready for the demonstration? Quan looked at his controls. One button would change everything. One button would show the aliens that they were not as smart as they thought. Ready, he said. Do it. Quan pressed the button. Suddenly, his ship became visible. Not just on sensors, but with normal eyes too. The Shadowwalker appeared right in the middle of the alien meeting room. The 12 alien leaders screamed. Some jumped backward. Some fell over. Some tried to run away. None of them understood what was happening. How is this possible? Shouted the spider-like alien. Our shields should stop anything from getting in here. Our sensors should detect any ship, yelled the tree-like alien. This is impossible, screamed the crystal alien. Quan opened a communication channel. Now the aliens could hear him. Hello, he said in a calm voice. My name is Captain Quan. I am from Earth. I am human. The aliens stared at him. They looked confused and scared. Impossible, said the crystal alien. Humans are extinct. We checked. They destroyed themselves 300 years ago. We got better, Quan said. The spider alien was trying to call for help on its communicator. Security, security, we have an intruder. Your security cannot see me unless I want them to, Quan said. Just like your sensors could not see me until I let them. How? Asked the tree alien. How did you get past our defenses? Quan smiled. Would you like me to show you? Before any alien could answer, Quan pressed another button. The Shadowwalker began to demonstrate human technology, but it was not like alien technology. Alien technology was loud and bright and obvious. Human technology was quiet and invisible and impossible to understand. The lights in the room began to flicker, not because Quan was attacking the power system, but because he was changing the dark matter around the power system. He was adjusting the invisible forces that held the atoms together. The floor began to feel soft under the alien's feet, not because Quan was melting it, but because he was changing how the dark matter flowed through it. He was making the solid floor behave like liquid, while still looking solid. The walls became transparent. The aliens could suddenly see through them into other rooms. Not because Quan was making holes in the walls, but because he was shifting the wall slightly into dark matter space, where normal light could pass through normal matter. "Stop this!" screamed the spider alien. "This is impossible." "Nothing is impossible," Quan said. "You just do not understand how the universe really works." The tree alien was shaking. "What are you doing to us?" "I am showing you the difference between your technology and ours," Quan explained. "You learn to use matter and energy. That is 4% of the universe. We learn to use dark matter and dark energy. That is 96% of the universe." Quan made his ship spin in place without moving its engines. He was using dark matter currents to rotate the ship. The aliens watched in terror as their understanding of physics fell apart. "You build with bricks," Quan continued. "We learn to reshape the foundation that holds the bricks together. You fight on the surface of the ocean. We swim in the deep currents below." The crystal alien tried to sound brave. "We have the biggest fleet in the galaxy. We have millions of ships, and every single one of them is blind," Quan said. "They cannot see us. They cannot hit us. They cannot defend against us. To us, your ships are like toys." Quan pressed one more button. Suddenly, the room was filled with images, not on screens but floating in the air like ghosts. The images showed human ships, lots of human ships, ships that looked nothing like alien ships. Human ships were smooth and curved. They seemed to bend and flow like water. They did not have big engines or giant weapons sticking out of them. They looked almost alive. "This is our fleet," Quan said. 1,000 warships, each one invisible to your sensors, each one more powerful than your biggest battleship. The alien stared at the images. The human ships were beautiful, but they were also terrifying. They moved in ways that ships should not move. They appeared and disappeared like dreams. "Where are they?" whispered the tree alien. "Everywhere," Quan said. "Around every one of your planets, around every one of your bases, around every one of your fleets. We have been watching you for 50 years, learning about you, preparing." "Preparing for what?" asked the spider alien. "For this moment," said a new voice. Another human appeared on the communication channel. It was Admiral Jinha. The aliens could see his face on their screens now. "I am Admiral Jinha of the human fleet," he said, "and we need to have a talk." The crystal alien tried to sound threatening. "We will not negotiate with primitives." Jinha's face did not change expression. 300 years ago, you called us primitives. You said we would destroy ourselves. You said we were too stupid to survive." "You were," said the spider alien. "Were we?" Jinha asked. "We were dying, yes. Our planet was sick. We were fighting wars. We were running out of resources. But we did not give up. We did not destroy ourselves. Instead, we learned." The room around Captain Quan began to change again. The walls showed images of Earth, but not the dying Earth the aliens remembered. This Earth was green and blue and beautiful. Cities floated on clean oceans. Forests grew where deserts used to be. The sky was clear and full of flying vehicles. "This is Earth today," Jinha said. "We fixed our climate. We ended our wars. We learned to work together. And while we were fixing our planet, we were also learning about the universe." The images changed. Now they showed human scientists working with strange equipment that seemed to bend space around itself, equipment that made light do impossible things. "We discovered that you were right about one thing," Jinha continued. "We were primitive, but not in the way you thought. You were primitive too. All of us were primitive. Because we were only using a tiny part of the universe. What do you mean? Asked the tree alien. You learned to master matter and energy, Jinha explained. You built great ships and powerful weapons. You thought you had mastered the universe, but you had only mastered the small part of the universe that you could see. The human ships, in the images, began to demonstrate their abilities. They traveled faster than light, but not the way alien ships did. Alien ships pushed against space to go fast. Human ships rode the dark matter currents that flowed through space. We learned to use the other 96%, Jinha said. The dark matter and dark energy that holds galaxies together. We learned to see the invisible roads between stars. We learned to swim in the hidden oceans of space. Captain Quan looked at the terrified aliens around him. Your weapons cannot hurt us because they are made of normal matter. Our ships exist partly in dark matter space. Your bullets pass right through us. Your shields cannot protect you because they only stop normal matter and energy. Our weapons attack through dark matter. We can reach inside your shields and turn off your engines. Your sensors cannot find us because they only detect normal matter. We can hide in dark matter space. To your sensors, we are not there. The spider alien was shaking. What do you want from us? Admiral Jinha smiled. It was not a cruel smile. It was the smile of a teacher about to give an important lesson. We want to give you a choice, he said. You can keep fighting each other with your primitive technology, or you can learn to use the real universe. The crystal alien stood up. We will never surrender to humans. We do not want you to surrender, Jinha said. We want you to evolve. Captain Quan prepared to leave the alien base. His demonstration was over. Now the real conversation could begin. Think about it, he said to the 12 aliens. We will be in touch. His ship faded away, becoming invisible again. But the aliens would never forget what they had seen. They had learned that humans were not extinct. They had learned that human technology was beyond anything they could imagine. And they had learned that everything they thought they knew about the universe was wrong. The Grand Assembly Hall was in complete chaos. 12 different alien species were all shouting at once. Some were angry. Some were scared. Some were confused. None of them knew what to do. The crystal alien leader, whose name was Zektar, slammed his hand on the table. This is impossible. Humans cannot have this technology. We are the most advanced species in the galaxy. Are we? Asked the tree-like alien called Elder Vorth. Her voice was shaking. Did you see what their ship did? It appeared inside our most secure room. It passed through our strongest shields like they were not even there. The spider alien, War Commander Thektar, was pacing back and forth on his 6 legs. We must attack them immediately. We cannot let these humans think they can threaten us. Attack them with what? Asked Elder Vorth. Our sensors cannot even see their ships. The room got louder. More aliens joined the argument. The bird-like skyborn were screeching. The fish-like deepsworn were making angry clicking sounds. The rock-like mountainborn were rumbling like earthquakes. But then something happened that made them all go quiet. A new voice spoke. It was calm and clear and came from everywhere at once. May we continue our conversation? Every alien in the room looked around. They could not see who was speaking. Their security systems showed nothing. Their sensors detected nothing. But the voice was there. Show yourself, demanded War Commander Thektar. As you wish. Suddenly, Captain Quan's ship appeared right in the middle of the assembly hall, but this time it was not alone. More human ships began to appear. One by one, they materialized out of nothing. 10 ships, 20 ships, 50 ships. Soon there were 100 human ships floating in the assembly hall. They were all different sizes. Some were small like Quan's scout ship. Others were as big as alien battleships. But they all had the same smooth flowing design. They all looked like they were alive. The aliens stared in terror. The assembly hall was huge, but now it was full of human ships. Ships that had appeared without warning. Ships that their best defenses could not stop. How many ships do you have? Whispered Elder Vorth. More than you can count. said Captain Kwan from his ship. And every single one is invisible to you unless we choose to show ourselves. Zektar tried to sound brave. We have millions of ships. Our fleet is the largest in the galaxy. Your fleet is on the surface of an ocean, said a new voice. It was Admiral Jin Ha. His ship was the biggest one in the hall. We swim in the depths you cannot see. The Admiral's ship moved forward. It did not use engines. It did not push against the air. It simply flowed through space like water. You want to know how many ships we have? Jin Ha asked. Let me show you. The walls of the assembly hall became transparent. The aliens could suddenly see outside into space, and what they saw made their blood freeze. Space was full of human ships, thousands of them, maybe tens of thousands. They surrounded the alien station like a cloud. They were everywhere the aliens looked, above, below, to every side. The human fleet was so big it blocked out the stars. Impossible, breathed Zektar. Where did they all come from? We have been here for hours, Jin Ha said. Waiting, watching. Your sensors never detected us because we exist in a part of reality you cannot see. War Commander Thektar was shaking with rage. This is a trick, an illusion. Humans do not have this many ships. Would you like us to prove it? Asked Jin Ha. Before any alien could answer, something amazing happened. The human ships began to move, not fast, not aggressively, but they moved in perfect coordination. Thousands of ships moved as one, like a school of fish or a flock of birds. They formed shapes in space. First a sphere around the alien station, then a cube, then a pyramid. The ships moved without sound, without visible engines, like they were dancing to music only they could hear. Your largest fleet has 12,000 ships, Jin Ha said, as his ships continued their display. It took you 300 years to build that fleet. We built 50,000 ships in the last 50 years. 50,000? Elder Vorth could barely speak. And each one is more advanced than your best battleship, Jin Ha continued. Each one can destroy your strongest warship. Each one can hide where your sensors cannot find it. The human ship stopped moving. They hung in space around the alien station like a cage made of starships. War Commander Thektar tried one last time to sound threatening. We will fight. We will not surrender. To primitives. Primitives? Jin Ha's voice became cold. Let us show you who the real primitives are. One of the human ships, smaller than the others, moved toward the alien station. It stopped right next to the station's main weapon. The weapon was huge. It was designed to destroy planets. Fire your weapon at our ship, Jin Ha said. What? Thektar was confused. You heard me. Fire your biggest weapon at our smallest ship. Show us how advanced you are. Thektar looked around at the other aliens. They all nodded. Maybe the humans were bluffing. Maybe their ships were not as strong as they seemed. Fire, Thektar ordered. The alien station's main weapon charged up. Energy built up inside it until it glowed like a small sun. Then it fired. The beam was incredible. It was pure energy, hot enough to melt steel, powerful enough to crack a moon. The beam hit the human ship directly and nothing happened. The human ship sat there calmly while the energy beam passed right through it. The ship was not damaged. It was not even touched. The beam went through the ship like the ship was not there. Impossible, screamed Zektar. Nothing can survive our planet-killer beam. Your beam is made of normal matter and energy, Jin Ha explained. Our ship is partially in dark matter space. Your beam cannot touch something that exists in a different layer of reality. The aliens stared in horror as their most powerful weapon proved useless against a small human scout ship. Now let us show you what our weapons can do, Jin Ha said. The human ship that had been shot turned toward an asteroid floating nearby. The asteroid was big, about the size of a small moon. It was made of solid rock and metal. The human ship did not fire any visible beam. There was no flash of light, no explosion, no sound. But the asteroid began to change. It started to glow, not with heat, but with a strange dark light. Then it began to come apart, not breaking or cracking, but dissolving. The solid rock became dust, The metal became gas. In 30 seconds, the entire asteroid was gone. It had been turned into a cloud of atoms. We did not blow it up, Jinha explained to the silent aliens. We used dark matter to break the bonds holding its atoms together. We unraveled it at the most basic level. Elder Vorth was crying. Green tears ran down her bark-like face. You could do that to our planets? Yes, Jinha said simply. We could unmake any world in your empire. We could dissolve your fleets. We could erase your cities, but we will not. Why not? Asked Zektar. Because we are not conquerors, Jinha said. We are teachers. A new voice joined the conversation. It was coming from Earth itself, transmitted across the galaxy by dark matter technology. This is Jake Morrison, President of United Earth, the voice said. I am speaking to you from the planet you thought was dead. The walls of the assembly hall showed a new image. It was Earth, but not the Earth the aliens remembered. This Earth was beautiful. Blue oceans reflected white clouds. Green continents showed cities that looked like gardens. The planet glowed with health and life. 300 years ago, you were right, Jake Morrison said. We were dying. We were fighting. We were destroying our world, but we did not give up. The image changed to show human cities. They were unlike anything the aliens had ever seen. Buildings grew like trees. Vehicles flowed like rivers. Everything was clean and beautiful and alive. We learned to fix our planet, Jake Morrison continued. We learned to work together. We learned to build instead of destroy. And while we were learning these things, we were also learning about the universe. You see, you made a mistake about us, Jake Morrison said. You thought intelligence meant building bigger weapons. You thought advancement meant controlling more planets. You thought strength meant having the biggest fleet. The image showed human scientists working with incredible machines. Machines that bent space and time. Machines that could see through the invisible parts of the universe. We learned that real intelligence means understanding the universe, not just using it, Jake Morrison explained. Real advancement means working with the forces of nature, not fighting against them. Real strength means knowing what not to destroy. Admiral, Jinha's voice returned. You have been fighting each other for thousands of years, fighting over planets, fighting over resources, fighting over territory, but you have only been fighting over 4% of the universe. What do you mean? Asked Elder Vorth. You can only see and use normal matter and energy, Jinha explained. That is 4% of what exists. The other 96% is dark matter and dark energy. That is where the real power is. That is where the real resources are. That is where the real territory exists. The human ships around the station began to glow with dark light. The aliens could see the dark matter flowing around the ships like water around fish. We offer you a choice, Jinha said. You can keep fighting each other over scraps while we control the real universe, or you can learn to use the forces that hold galaxies together. And if we refuse? Asked War Commander Thektar. Jinha was quiet for a moment. When he spoke again, his voice was sad but firm. Then you will become primitives playing with fire while gods reshape the stars. The human fleet began to fade away. One by one, the ships became invisible again. Soon only Admiral Jinha's ship remained visible. We will give you time to think, he said. 1 solar cycle. Then we will return for your answer. What kind of answer? Asked Zektar. Simple, Jinha replied. Do you want to keep fighting yesterday's wars with yesterday's weapons? Or do you want to learn how to use tomorrow's universe? The last human ship faded away, leaving the aliens alone with their thoughts and their fears. The galaxy would never be the same again. War Commander Thektar made the worst decision in galactic history. 3 days after the humans had left, he called together the biggest war fleet the galaxy had ever seen. Ships came from all 12 hegemony species, battleships that could crack planets, carriers full of fighter ships, destroyers with weapons that could melt asteroids. We will not bow to these humans, Thektar screamed to his captains. We are the rulers of the galaxy. We have ruled for 10,000 years. We will not let some primitive species from a dead planet tell us what to do. The other alien leaders were not sure. Elder Vorth had seen what human technology could do. Zektar remembered how their biggest weapon had passed right through the human ship, but they were scared to look weak in front of their own people. So they sent their fleets to fight, 12 war fleets, each one bigger than anything that had fought in space before. Together they had 3 million ships. Each ship had weapons that could destroy cities. Each ship had shields that could stop nuclear bombs. They thought 3 million ships would be enough to defeat 1,000 human ships. They were very, very wrong. Admiral Jinha watched the alien fleets coming on his command screen. He was not angry. He was not excited. He was sad. They chose war, he said quietly to Dr. Harin, who stood beside him on the bridge of the Vengeance of Terra. Yes, Harin said. Did you think they would choose differently? I hoped they were smarter, Jinha replied. But fear makes people stupid, and they are very afraid of us. Captain Kwan's voice came over the radio from his scout ship. Admiral, I count 3 million enemy ships. They are spread out in formation Alpha 7. Standard attack pattern. Rex, what do our sensors show? Jinha asked. Commander Rex was watching the screens that showed dark matter. The enemy ships are moving through normal space only. They cannot see the dark matter currents. They cannot see our ships. They are fighting blind. Jinha nodded. Then we will give them a lesson they will never forget. But remember, we are teachers, not murderers. Disable their ships. Do not kill their crews unless they give us no choice. Yes, sir, came the replies from 1,000 human ships. The Battle of the Outer Reach began at 1432 Galactic Standard Time. It lasted exactly 18 minutes. The alien fleets attacked. Empty space. Their sensors showed no human ships. Their weapons fired at nothing. Their 3 million ships shot at stars and asteroids and cosmic dust, but they could not hit what they could not see. The human ships moved through dark matter like fish swimming underwater. They appeared only to attack, then disappeared again, before the aliens could fight back. Captain Kwan was the first to strike. His small scout ship appeared right next to the alien command vessel Eternal Dominion. The alien ship was huge, 10 kilometers long, with enough firepower to glass a planet. Kwan did not fire any weapons. Instead, he used dark matter manipulation to reach inside the alien ship's shields. He found the main power core and simply turned it off, not by breaking it, not by exploding it. He used dark energy to stop the nuclear reactions inside it. The Eternal Dominion went dark. All its lights went out. All its weapons stopped working. All its engines died. The crew was alive and safe, but their ship was now just a floating piece of metal. Eternal Dominion, this is Captain Kwan, he broadcast to the confused aliens inside. Your ship is disabled. Your weapons are offline. Your shields are down. You are alive because we chose to let you live. War Commander Thektar was on that ship. He screamed into his radio. How did you get through our shields? How did you disable our power core? Your shields stop matter and energy, Kwan explained, patiently. But we attacked through dark matter. We reached through your shields like reaching through water. Your power core is not broken. We just convinced the atoms inside it to stop dancing together. All around the battle space, other human ships were doing the same thing. They appeared next to alien battleships and simply turned them off. Some human ships disabled the engines. Others turned off the weapons. A few turned off the life support for just a few seconds, long enough to scare the alien crews, but not long enough to hurt them. The aliens tried everything they knew. They fired planet-killer beams at the human ships, but the beams passed right through. They launched nuclear missiles, but the missiles could not lock onto targets that existed partly in dark matter space. They tried to ram the human ships with their own vessels, but the human ships simply stepped sideways into dark matter and let the alien ships pass through empty space. This is impossible, screamed one alien captain as his ship's weapons turned themselves off one by one. Our computers show nothing is attacking us. That is because your computers can only see 4% of the universe, replied the human captain who was disabling his ship. We are attacking from the other 96%. Commander Rex was coordinating the battle from his position on the Vengeance of Terra. Admiral, we have disabled 60% of their fleet. No casualties on either side. They are starting to panic. Jinha watched as alien ships tried to retreat but found their engines would not work. Other alien ships tried to call for help, but their communication systems had been turned off. The 3 million ship fleet that was supposed to destroy humanity was becoming a 3 million ship embarrassment. Open a channel to all alien vessels, Jinha ordered. His voice went out to every ship in the enemy fleet. Attention hegemony forces. This is Admiral Jinha of the Human Defense Fleet. You came here to destroy us. Instead, you are learning what it means to fight an enemy that lives in dimensions you cannot see. On the main screen, Jinha could see the alien ships floating, helplessly in space. Most of them were completely disabled. A few were still trying to fight, but their weapons could not hit targets they could not detect. You have 3 million ships, Jinha continued. We have 1,000. You have weapons that can crack planets. We have weapons that can turn off your weapons. You have shields that can stop nuclear bombs. We can reach through your shields and pat you on the head. Some of the alien captains were crying. Others were praying to their gods. All of them were learning that everything they thought they knew about warfare was wrong. But Jinha was not finished with the lesson. You think this battle shows that we are stronger than you, he said. You are wrong. This battle shows that you are fighting yesterday's war with yesterday's technology. We are not trying to beat you. We are trying to teach you. Jinha gave a command to his fleet. Suddenly, all the disabled alien ships got their power back. Their engines worked again. Their weapons came online. Their shields were restored. The alien crews were confused. Why would the humans give them back their power? We just gave you back your ships, Jinha explained. You could attack us again if you want. Your weapons work. Your shields work. Everything is back to normal. Some alien captains did try to attack again. They fired their weapons at the human ships, but the weapons still passed harmlessly through the human vessels. You see, Jinha said, getting your power back does not help you. Fight us. Because the problem is not that your ships are broken. The problem is that your ships exist in only 4% of the universe. War Commander Thektar's voice came over the radio. He sounded defeated. What do you want from us? We want you to stop thinking like primitives, Jinha replied. You came here with 3 million ships because you thought numbers would save you, but you could have 3 billion ships and it would not matter. You cannot fight an enemy that exists where you cannot see. The human fleet began to demonstrate just how outmatched the aliens were. Human ships appeared and disappeared all around the alien fleet. They moved in impossible ways. They passed through solid objects. They seemed to be everywhere at once. We could have destroyed your entire fleet in the first minute, Jinha explained as his ships danced around the helpless alien vessels. We could have turned off your life support. We could have made your ships tear themselves apart. We could have sent you all into the heart of the nearest star. Why didn't you? Asked Elder Vorth from her ship. Because we are not monsters, Jinha replied. We are humans. We fight to protect, not to destroy. We win by making our enemies into friends, not by turning them into corpses. The human ships stopped their demonstration and formed up in a neat formation. 1,000 ships in perfect order, while 3 million alien ships floated around them, in confusion. You have 2 choices, Jinha said to the alien fleet. You can keep fighting us with weapons that cannot hurt us, and ships we can turn off whenever we want. Or you can learn to see the universe the way we see it. And if we choose to keep fighting? Asked War Commander Thektar. Jinha's voice became very serious. Then we will do something that will scare you more than any weapon. What? We will leave you alone, Jinha said. We will go away and let you keep fighting each other with your primitive technology, and while you waste the next 1,000 years fighting over scraps, we will explore the rest of the galaxy. We will meet new species. We will teach them what we have learned, and when you finally decide to join the modern universe, you will find that everyone else has already moved on without you. The alien fleet was very quiet. The captains and admirals were thinking about what Jinha had said. They were thinking about being left behind while the rest of the galaxy learned to use dark matter technology. Finally, Elder Vorth spoke up. What would we have to do to learn? Jinha smiled even though she could not see him. First, you would have to stop thinking that strength comes from having bigger weapons than your neighbor. Real strength comes from understanding forces that your neighbor cannot even see. And then we teach you to swim in the deep currents of space instead of just floating on the surface. The battle was over. The humans had won without firing a shot, without killing anyone, without destroying a single alien ship. They had won by showing the aliens that everything they thought they knew about the universe was wrong. And now the real work could begin. 6 months later, the galaxy was a very different place. The Grand Assembly Hall had been rebuilt. It was bigger now, with new sections added for species that had never been invited before. The old hegemony of 12 species had become the Galactic Council of 47 species. And at the head of the great table sat a human. Jake Morrison, president of Earth, looked around the room at faces that were no longer filled with fear or anger. Some aliens were still nervous around humans, but most were excited. They were excited because they were learning things they had never imagined possible. The Outer Rim colonies are reporting success with the new farming technique, said Captain Kwan, who now served as humanity's ambassador to the council. Using dark matter to strengthen plant roots, they can grow food on planets that were too dry before. Elder Vorth made a happy rustling sound with her leaves. My people have used this technique on 12 worlds. We can now live on planets we could never touch before. Thank you for teaching us. Zektar, the crystal alien who had once called humans primitives, spoke up. The medical applications are even more amazing. Using dark energy to heal at the cellular level, we can cure diseases that killed our people for thousands of years. Jake Morrison smiled. And this is just the beginning. We have barely started to explore what is possible when you can work with the forces that hold atoms together. War Commander Thektar, who had once wanted to destroy humanity, now worked as a security officer for the Council. The crime rates on all our worlds have dropped by 90%, he reported. When people can travel instantly through dark matter portals, when they can have unlimited clean energy, when they can grow food anywhere, they do not need to steal or fight. What about the exploration fleets? Asked Jake Morrison. Commander. Rex stood up. He now commanded the Joint Human-Alien Exploration Program. We have discovered 17 new species in the last 6 months. All of them were struggling with problems we can now solve easily. Resource shortages, climate disasters, energy crises, all things we learned to fix on Earth. And they are all willing to learn? Yes. When you can offer someone unlimited clean energy and the ability to heal any disease, they listen very carefully to what you have to say. Dr. Harin, who now ran the Galactic Science Institute, added her report. We have established dark matter research centers on 40 worlds. Each species brings their own knowledge and perspective. We are learning things about the universe that no single species could discover alone. Jake Morrison nodded. The transformation had been faster than anyone expected. When you could solve a species' biggest problems in a matter of days, they became very interested in learning how you did it. But the real change was not in the technology. The real change was in how the galaxy thought about itself. Tell me about the wars, Jake Morrison said. Thektar looked embarrassed. There are no wars, President Morrison. The last conflict ended 3 months ago when both sides realized they were fighting over a system that had unlimited resources once we showed them how to use dark matter mining. No territorial disputes? How can you have territorial disputes when space is infinite? Asked Elder Vorth. With dark matter travel, we can reach any star in the galaxy in days. There is room for everyone, everywhere. Jake Morrison remembered the old days when species fought wars over single planets. Now, with dark matter technology, they could travel to any part of the galaxy instantly. They could mine energy from dark matter itself. They could grow food on any world, even dead ones. Territory had become meaningless when the entire universe was available. What about the resistance groups? Jake Morrison asked. Captain Kwan sighed. There are still some groups that want to go back to the old ways. They say we have made the galaxy too peaceful. They miss the excitement of war and conquest. How many? Maybe 1% of the population. Most of them are old military leaders who do not like that their weapons are now useless. But they cannot do much damage when we can see everything they do through dark matter surveillance. Zektar added, and most young people think the old ways were stupid. Why fight over resources when you can create unlimited resources? Why conquer territory when you can travel anywhere instantly? The children do not understand why their parents used to kill each other. Jake Morrison felt a deep satisfaction. This was what humanity had dreamed of for centuries. Not conquest, but cooperation. Not domination, but education. Not ruling the galaxy, but teaching it to rule itself. Admiral Jin Ha sends his regards, said Commander Rex. His exploration fleet has reached the Andromeda Galaxy. They have made contact with civilizations there and are beginning to share our knowledge. How are they responding? The same way everyone responds, Rex smiled. With amazement, then gratitude, then eagerness to learn. It seems the pattern is universal. When you show people how to solve their biggest problems, they want to know everything you can teach them. Dr. Haran looked up from her data pad. The mathematics are interesting. At our current rate of expansion, we will have peaceful contact with every intelligent species in the local galaxy cluster within 50 years. And they will all learn dark matter technology. Those who want to, we never force anyone. But so far, every species we have met has chosen to learn. The benefits are too obvious to ignore. Jake Morrison stood up and walked to the great window that looked out into space. Through the transparent aluminum, he could see ships from dozens of different species traveling together. Human ships with their flowing organic designs, crystal ships that looked like living gems, tree ships that were actually grown rather than built, metal ships shaped like the creatures that made them, all of them using dark matter technology, all of them working together. Do you know what makes me proudest? Jake Morrison said to the council. What? Asked Elder Vorth. 300 years ago, when the old hegemony found Earth, they said humans would destroy themselves because we were too aggressive, too violent, too stupid to work together. Jake Morrison turned to look at the assembled representatives of 47 different species. They were wrong about the stupid part, obviously, but they were also wrong about the aggressive part. Humans are aggressive, but we are aggressive about solving problems, not creating them. We are aggressive about learning, not about destroying. And the violent part? Asked Zektar. We are violent against ignorance, against suffering, against the idea that any problem cannot be solved. We declared war on the laws of physics that said faster than light travel was impossible. We fought against the forces of nature that said dark matter could not be controlled. We conquered death itself by learning to heal at the quantum level. Jake Morrison smiled as he watched a group of young aliens and humans working together on a new kind of ship design. They were laughing as they worked, excited about the possibilities they were creating. The old hegemony was right that humans are warriors, he continued. But they did not understand what we fight against. We do not fight other species. We fight the limitations that keep all species from reaching their potential. Captain Kwan looked out at the peaceful space traffic. What happens now, President Morrison? We have solved most of the galaxy's problems. We have shared our knowledge with everyone who wants it. We have ended wars and cured diseases and given everyone unlimited resources. What is left to do? Jake. Morrison's eyes got that look they always got when he was thinking about the future. The look that had driven humans to survive their dying planet, to master dark matter, to teach the galaxy new ways to live. Now we do what humans always do when we finish one impossible task, he said. Which is, we find a new impossible task and make it possible too. He pointed out the window toward the deep space beyond the galaxy. The universe is infinite. There are billions of galaxies out there, trillions of species we have never met. Maybe some of them have problems we cannot solve yet. Maybe some of them know things we have not learned yet. And humans have never been satisfied with good enough. We made our planet perfect, so we reached for the stars. We mastered our galaxy, so we will reach for other galaxies. We learned to use dark matter, so we will learn to use whatever comes after dark matter. Dr. Ha-Rin smiled. Dark energy manipulation is still theoretical. We are probably 1,000 years away from practical applications. 1,000 years? Jake Morrison laughed. Ha-Rin, 300 years ago we were dying on a poisoned planet, fighting with primitive nuclear weapons. 1,000 years is nothing. He turned back to the council. The galaxy is just our first student. There are infinite galaxies out there, infinite possibilities, infinite problems waiting to be solved. And humans, working together with all of you, are going to solve every single one. War Commander Thektar, who had once thought humans were primitives, shook his head in amazement. I used to think humans were dangerous because they never knew when to give up. And now? Now I think humans are wonderful because they never know when to give up. Outside the window, human and alien ships traveled together toward the edge of the galaxy, where new adventures waited. They carried with them the fire that had lifted humanity from near extinction to galactic teachers, the absolute certainty that every barrier existed to be broken. Every impossibility was just a problem looking for a solution, and every ending was simply a new beginning waiting to be discovered. The galaxy had forgotten humanity's name for 300 years. Now it would never forget what humans had taught them, that the only real limits are the ones you accept, and humans never accept limits. The universe was about to learn what infinite, human determination could accomplish when it was multiplied by the dreams and abilities of countless other species. It was going to be amazing.